This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Virginia McConnell.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast Live. Are you in need of a muscle therapist? One might be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Butch Phelps, with the Muscle Repair Shop. How are you?
I'm doing well, Virginia. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, yeah. We're excited to hear about you and your business. So I'd love to hear more.
So I own a business called the Muscle Repair Shop. And even though I'm a licensed massage therapist, as we talked about in the introduction, the muscle therapy really defines more of what I do than just a massage therapist. Because when I say massage therapist, most people assume they're going to go get a massage. What I did was I've created something called the stretch and release technique. And what I did with that was I combined a gentle type of stretching with a type of massage that we can incorporate the brain to the muscles and get involved into the emotional side of muscles. And then the key to that is that I actually teach you how to do that when you go home, so that for the rest of your life, you can take control of your body. So it's not just I'm going to come in and do something to you. We're going to do something together and give you a tool for the rest of your life that you can solve those chronic aches and pains that you have every day.
Oh, I love that. A collaboration of sorts.
Yeah.
All right. So how did you get into that business?
Actually, it found me, which was kind of funny because I had spent 20 years in the corporate world. I worked in the newspaper business, and I was up to about 315 pounds in 1997. And I had a doctor who taught me how to not only eat to lose weight, but also how to eat to maintain my weight. So I managed to lose 105 pounds between 1997 and 1998. However, losing that weight, knowing that I had to get back in shape, I started working out like crazy. And I developed a severe low back pain. And that low back pain was so bad that when I would get out of my car, I would crawl out on my hands and pull myself up by the door handle. And I would do the typical route that everybody did. I would go to a doctor and he would send me to a PT. They may offer me an injection or they may offer me some painkillers, but nobody really understood what was causing the back pain. And so I said to my wife, because I took an early retirement from the corporate world, and I said, I need to find something in my life that it's going to be a little bit easier physically, since this back pain doesn't seem to be going away, but something I can sort of give back to. And as I started to explore, I landed on massage therapy. So I went to school for neuromuscular and sports massage. And as I started to get in and work with the muscles, I realized that I knew things that I didn't know how I knew things. It was almost like, where did that come from, kind of thing, And as I started working in the school, even during my first semester, some of my teachers would pull me off on the side during my breaks to get me to work on their neck or get me to work on their shoulders. And I'm like, well, this is insane. I've only been here like 3 weeks, So it was like this thing just started taking off on a life of its own. And I go, this is crazy. So as I went to this 2-year degree in neuromuscular and sports massage, and towards the end of it, 2 of my professors and the dean of the school said, there's a guy named Aaron Mattis I think you need to meet. And Aaron became my first mentor. He's actually founded Active Isolated Stretching. And so we got together. He allowed me to study with him for 6 months. And then I went up picking up 2 or 3 more mentors. I had a couple of neurosurgeons, one focused in the brain health with dementia, and the other was more for the nerves and coming out of the spine. And what I learned from them was the connection of the mind to the muscles. And so what happens with the muscles, we think of them purely as a mechanical thing, almost like, people, like we were talking about earlier, people sometimes can make a mistake. Well, am I working on muscle cars? We tend to think of the muscles as the same thing, as it's a mechanical thing. But the muscles are really an emotional part of the body. And when I started to learn that, along with the stretching and the massage that I had learned, that's when my back pain released. And I was 41, 42 at the time. And I haven't had that back pain since. And I'm 66 years old today with no back pain. So
that's incredible.
Yeah. I'm more flexible today than I was then.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are some myths or misconceptions in your industry?
Well, there's quite a few. I mean, like I was touching on earlier, we think of our muscles as going someplace and having someone to do something to you, and then you leave and hope you can get an appointment within a week or so to come back. And the biggest complaint that I hear from people is that whether they go to PTs or they go to a massage therapist or they go to a trainer, is that when it seems to last for about hours, a few hours to maybe a day or so, and then it goes back to the way it was. The biggest issue here is understanding that, number one, the muscles are very emotional. So everything you think, feel, and do will cause tightness or tension in the muscle itself. And then number two, instead of having things done to you, you need to understand that you have to do something on a daily basis, because if it's true that everything you think, feel, and do affects your tightness in your muscles, that means 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're tightening your muscles with every thought you have, every state of mind that you have, and every activity you do, whether that's feeding yourself with a spoon or you're driving your car down the road. So it's not a I'm going to wait till I feel tight and I'm going to go see somebody to help me out. It's let's do this on a daily basis so that I never have to go get to that point to go see somebody. That's a massive myth, because when you go to like massage, for instance, in most cases, you're talking to someone who was taught how to do the massage protocols, but not necessarily taught how the brain connects to your muscles. So if you come in there and you're getting a massage and you're thinking about something at work, or you're thinking about something you got to do as soon as you get off that table, your brain is tightening your muscles as this poor person is trying to soften them. And it's like, until you let go with your brain, that person can't soften your muscles.
It seems counterproductive.
It does. It does. And yet the funny thing is when you talk to a lot of healthcare professionals, that's like a whole new concept, because that's not something talked about in school.
Wow. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know marketing's the heart of every business.
Yeah.
Who are your target customers and how do you attract them?
So my target customers, it's been for most of my career, 50 plus, active, affluent, because insurance doesn't pay for what I do. And they are willing to do things on their own to get better. In other words, they're more disciplined. They are the type that if something's wrong, I need to fix it. And that's usually the ideal customer. Now, what I found online is that age has dropped down more to like 35 to 40 and above. And that everything else seems to apply. But it's something that, when I stretch every day, I'll stretch for about 20 minutes in the morning when I get up and 20 minutes the evening when I go to bed. And people always say, well, should I stretch before I do an activity or after I do an activity? And, with static stretching, which is what we're all been taught in school, when you do that before an event, there's been studies put out that says you actually exhaust the muscles before you ever get into your event. So it has a detrimental effect to you. Because see, the thing is it's the static stretching, we're holding for long periods of time, and your brain is like concerned about you hurting yourself, but you want to lengthen the muscles like you're pulling taffy. And the reality is you're not lengthening them at all. They're attached on both ends. But what you're doing is taking the tension out. Well, the harder you pull and the more pain you cause, the more the brain contracts that muscle and fights against you. So actually what you're doing is strength training versus stretching.
Wow.
Yeah. I had the same reaction when I first learned that. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like a 3-sport athlete. I did that my whole life as a kid.
Right. This is like what you're taught.
Everybody taught me that. And I was like, this is insane. I wish I'd have known me when I was 18.
Oh, man. So, right. Well, we were talking earlier, have you thought about having your own podcast?
I actually have. And like I said, I'm working on some things now, because I built a nice size online community of people that it's on YouTube called The Muscle Repair Shop. And what I want to add to that and build from that is a place where they can get weekly live Q&A, so they can get in touch with me when they have questions and so forth to talk to them. I can give them live demos that they can see. They'll have a library of videos that they can go to at any time they want to be able to help them do the stretches that I'm teaching them. And then at the same time, we build a community where they can communicate with each other to say, hey, how did you do that? Because sometimes, depending on who you are, you may have to tweak things a little bit, which is okay as long as you're getting the results that you're looking for. and the community can help with that a lot. That's going to be coming. The plans is in June for people to be able to do that. And so I've been busy working on that. But once all that's set up and it gets running, then the podcast may come around, because I just think it would be fun to talk to other practitioners and other realms of healthcare to really talk about that.
Yeah, that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Butch, so please tell our listeners one thing they should remember about the Muscle Repair Shop.
Yes. One thing about the Muscle Repair Shop, we're going to not just pull your muscles. We're going to teach you how to use your brain to allow the muscles to soften, to relax, to take pressure off your joints, take pressure off your nerves and your blood vessels. And the most important thing you'll get is you'll have a plan that when you go home, you'll know how to solve your own problems for the rest of your life.
Perfect. And how can our listeners learn more about the Muscle Repair Shop?
So the first thing, I'd go to my YouTube channel, the Muscle Repair Shop. I've got almost 200 videos there, so you can get a full dose of what I'm all about. I talk about specific things so that you can see, what's happening. I'll talk about why traditional treatments don't always work so well, and then how the stretch and release technique can actually help you. And in most of the videos, you'll have demonstrations to show you how to do some of those things. I have a website, themusclerepairshop.com, and I have a book, as I was saying earlier, which won an award in 2025 called Stretch and Release, which is on Amazon. And it's like a manual to your muscle system of your body so that you can take control of your chronic aches and pains that people have on a daily basis, so that you don't walk around like an old lady or an old man every day.
Because that's not fun.
No, it's not fun. I'm telling you, I have a lot of friends in my age group, and it's like, I watch them, and I'm so grateful that I don't have those same feelings every day.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Well, we really appreciate you being on the show. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsarasota.com. That's gnpsarasota.com. Or call 941-949-1865.